I'll play something and we stream that instead of just sitting over here.
Well, excellent. What would you like to play?
Probably. I want to play. Well, I don't know. I would say maybe The Forest. Maybe.
Well, we'll see if maybe I can get myself a digital copy of Ghost of Tsushima.
We should do that.
Oh my god!
Perhaps we should do that. I'm
I
just saying.
I sent your Christmas card out like 2 days ago, so it's probably gonna get there after Christmas, but you should get it soon.
Oh well, if you're sending it to just about any other place in the world, it probably would get here around that time. But because it's coming to here, you can go ahead and tack on like an additional like 3 or 4 months to that arrival time.
Giuseppe, that's terrible.
Well, it's odd because it only seems to happen for incoming mail. Things that go out, no problem.
Just instant.
No problem.
Instant. They're just out. They immediately get to the place the next day, and it's like, what's happening?
So what you're saying is everyone where you live wants to leave immediately, but nobody wants to come in?
Right.
Got it.
Yep. See?
Well,
Nailed it.
hopefully it gets there a little bit quicker than that.
Oh.
I mean, it's just a card.
Yeah.
So.
Another glorious day to craft a chat with all of our fans, our friends, our fam.
The fam.
The fam for Yam. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Are we broadcasting? Yes, we are broadcasting.
Yep.
Welcome once again to episode 21. 21 Blackjack, ladies and gentlemen, of Crafting a Chat. It's your boys, Adam, Genesis, Giuseppe, and we are so excited. 21st episodes. Hopefully we'll end 2020 on a clean and happy note. Lord knows
we legal now? Is that what it is? Are we legal now?
I think at 18 we were legal, but all right.
It's a varying degrees of
legal. It also depends on your country, like.
That's true.
Yeah, for all our fans watching
21's
outside
good.
of the U.S.
21's good.
21's a good age.
21.
And with that, another week in the record books. Gentlemen, what have you all been playing this past week?
I'll go first. Adam and I have been playing a bunch of Sackboy. I don't understand why this game has not gotten more praise than it has already. It should be getting tons of praise for this game because just the multiplayer is a ton of fun. The game itself has so many different mechanics. Listen, it's a lot of fun.
No, I mean for the praise reason, like the game's good, but then it gets amazing. You have to get through it for a couple hours.
Yes.
But also,
yes, I would agree.
Like the multiplayer mechanic is great, but that just came out. Like you could do couch co-op.
You just did, yes. Yeah.
If it had online at the beginning,
maybe. Yeah, it was tough. You can only share play it. That was the only way to play online multiplayer before. But I got to tell you, the game is a lot of fun. I'm having just a grand old time with Adam. It's just been laughs and all this stuff just going through on this. I'm like, this is awesome. I just want to get more and more of it.
Yeah,
all the different stuff they put in, from the little mechanics with the jellyfish mechanics, where if you hit them, they make the floor either appear or disappear. You have like the quote unquote Iron Man suit that you have, where you can fly and shoot things. You also have the
grappling hook.
Yep, which is a lot of fun. But the only annoying thing is that sometimes you grab your partner, which I wish there was just a little bit better tweaks on that. But I'm sure they can fix that. It's not a big deal.
Don't aim at them.
And then
problem solved.
Yeah,
I never grab you,
listen,
sir.
Okay, well, I'm sorry that sometimes when we jump at the same time, I end up grabbing you instead of grabbing the thing that I'm supposed to grab.
Interesting. I never grab you unless I want to.
Now, when you grab the other person, does that like Like, what are the bad effects? Do you just toss them into like pits and stuff like that?
Oh
or-
yeah,
Well, you
no, he's
grab
thrown
him
me into
and
pits.
oh yeah. You grab them and you can actually carry people around. There's one of the trophies where you have to get through one of the time trials by carrying somebody through the entire trial, and that was a whole
That was
thing. Yeah.
that was an event. That was a journey. That number one fan of the podcast,
Oh
Kevin,
yeah.
came on with us. So
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
Absolutely.
You know, honestly, that little mechanic there, that reminds me of a really, really old NES game. I don't know if you're familiar, Chippendale Rescue Rangers. When you played that two-player simultaneously,
Uh-huh.
you could actually grab the other person, and you basically got full control over them. As if, like, the whole game is basically just like a side-scrolling platformer where you just essentially you grab stuff everywhere in the level and you just throw things to like kill enemies. But you can also do that to the actual other player, and you could be helpful or you could be a jerk and just toss them down a pit if they just got in your way. So
you can easily
Purposely.
this one's all about like family friendly fun. So you can easily get out of the grab by just tapping X once, and like you're not
oh,
grabbed anymore.
okay.
But especially when we're at the score sheets at the end, we're hitting each other, we're jumping around trying to grab each other. I'm rolling all the time because Sackboys can roll. If you just
Right.
keep
Apparently,
tapping
you're
circle, or
Sonic
you
the
can,
Hedgehog in this game. You
yeah,
just roll.
there's a lot of rolling. I roll all the time, but if you roll and then you go near your co-op partner, the co-op partner automatically jumps on top of the ball and starts running on top of the ball that's rolling. So it's just, I always drag Genesis, and he's like, "What are you doing? Stop rolling!" It's killed us multiple times.
Yes,
So
yes, it was
sorry
a lot
about
of
that.
fun. A lot of
Yeah,
fun.
we've killed.
No, a lot of fun. No.
Yeah, the first night we played, we were having so much fun. We played for what, 5 hours?
Yeah, and it's weird. We've gotten to a point now where sometimes we're in just complete silence and we'll just be like synchronizing with each other, just doing everything. And I'm like,
Yes.
oh, look, we're not saying anything. Like,
Well,
we're not
yeah,
doing anything. We're just going through the level. It's like, oh, okay, all right,
yeah.
cool.
Like
Yep.
last
This is what we
night,
do. Yep,
you
okay.
you carried on a conversation with Chris, and I joined in a little bit, and we weren't talking to each other, but we went through a whole level. We aced it. We were just bobbing and
We-
weaving everything. Like I would pick you up every so often to throw you somewhere. Like it was just we were synced up. It's been a lot of
That's
fun
good.
that game. It's been a lot of
It
fun.
was a lot of fun. Yeah. That's
Nice.
other than that, I think I popped into. Oh, I finished RE3. I popped in. What is it? Yakuza Kiwami to install and Resident Evil 7. So I'm gonna play those two later on. And
What
then
was your what's a quick take on RE3? How'd you enjoy that?
RE3 was really good. It was definitely shorter than RE2. If I had to like the game in terms of like choose between the two in terms of just longevity and overall replayability, I think I would go with 2 more than 3. Even though 3 people are saying is like the quote unquote like Dark Souls of Resident Evil because like it's very punishing. There's many different difficulties. There's speedrun tactics. There's all the things like that. Um, 2 just offered a little bit better variety, and 3 was like you kind of go through some of the same areas as 2. Albeit it's not much, but it's some areas is the exact copy and paste of 2. But 2 was just better because it's 2 different perspectives you get to play, in 2 separate game runs, and this one is like you play both characters in one run, and they're very short runs each.
There's
So
also there's also more
yeah.
game to 2 versus 3, right?
Yes, yeah. There's more areas in 2. There's more map in 2. There's also more things to do, more things to collect in 2, more weapons, more upgrades, things like that. And 3, I think I liked it overall for just the action section of it. Like the action parts in that game definitely outshine 2. 2 was definitely more scarier than 3, but 3 was more like by the end of the game when you pick up that ray gun or the rail gun. I mean, that rail gun animation just is so anime-esque. I like it. I was like, oh man, look at this giant gun she's just picking up, loading up, firing at this nemesis boss, and boom, his head goes right off, and I'm like, this is amazing.
Right,
This is so
certainly.
cool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
Good stuff.
yeah, it was good. I wish it was longer. I have not had a chance to try out the multiplayer, and I really want to try it, but I don't find anybody who wants to play. I'm not going to play with a bunch of randoms.
Yeah.
I definitely want to play with somebody. My brother has it, and one of his friends have it, but I want to give the multiplayer a shot because it, again, coming from Resident Evil 5, like you know, I've always wanted to have a good multiplayer from Resident Evil to play, but
The
Umbrella Corps
difference.
wasn't anything crazy,
Oh
and
my
I haven't
goodness,
tried
yeah.
this one.
Ooh. The, the
Yeah.
the the key difference though is that, that RE5 when it did eventually launch that multiplayer, it didn't quite have the same kind of connectivity issues that three's multiplayer. I wonder if they're still having like issues with that, like actually
You
being able to
know,
get
it's a
people
good
to form
question. I
matches.
haven't even checked patches and stuff like that for it, but when we do play, I will let you know.
All right, cool. Well, I'm interested to know. Hey, Adam, what
Yeah.
have you been playing? I mean, you did mention a bunch of Sackboy.
Oh yeah, a bunch of Sackboy. I actually just beat it about
Cool.
20 minutes ago. So Genesis actually joined as I was singing the credits song. So that's what I was doing, by the way. Yeah, good game, fun game. Why are you looking at me like that?
What are you doing? Sorry.
So now I wanted to beat it so we could play on Genesis's. So because he wants to do it as co-op, so we're going through the whole game on co-op. So I'm basically playing the game twice. But
Cool.
yeah, I have 5 or 6 more trophies to get, and then the platinum's mine. Probably going to take a while. Some stuff opened up at the end that I did not expect, so that's exciting.
Mm.
I also beat the Outer Worlds finally. It's
All
been
right.
over a year at this point since Genesis lovingly gifted that to me. Um,
Good
I
gift.
yeah, it was because I wanted it, and then I didn't buy it, and then he was like, "Hey, Merry Christmas," and I was like, yeah, good game, very funny still, good writing, lots of fun. I have my gripes with it, as I've talked on here before, with the optimization, the loading screens, the layout of everything. But overall, I still enjoyed it, and I can't wait to go back, clean up some of them trophies, eventually start my super hard playthrough. I forget what their difficulty is called. I died a lot in the last area, and I'm on normal, so I'm pretty not excited for playing it on the hardest difficulty. Um, Other than that, played a little bit of Minecraft, not as much this past week, but yeah, no, that's pretty much it. Giuseppe, what have you been playing?
Well, I've definitely been devoting an awful lot of time to Cyberpunk 2077. So I've been cyberpunking, but I've also been cyber stalling, here and there. My hard crash count is total to 5 now, which
Mm.
isn't horrible, but I mean, like, especially when I compare to like another game that I really enjoyed, and which also heavily maligned for glitches, bugs, and crashes, Fallout 3. Man, and again, it's a little bit unfair comparing them, but the state of functionality for Cyberpunk 2077, and again, once again, to all the listeners out there, I am playing it on a PS4 Pro, so I'm not having the worst experience per se, but I'm also not having the best experience either. The functionality definitely gets in the way. The rhythm of a narrative story, especially one in which you're being given the illusion of choice by, choosing which missions to take, who to speak with, who to kind of like give like favorable responses to. It gives you that illusion of choice thing. In order to make that a fulfilling experience to the player, you kind of like you really have to get immersed into those moments, into the world. You know what I mean? And when you have the crashes, you have the freezes, you have the glitches, you have the pop-ins, you have the clipping. You know, a lot of that. The frequency of it really like takes you out of the moment. And you know, it's definitely caught me a couple times where I've just gotten into like a gameplay loop mode, a mindset where it's like, look, I'm just clearing out side missions. I'm just going to a map and I'm just clicking on icon for this mission, then for this mission, then for that mission, and I'm kind of like skipping dialogue because I just want to clear things out of the queue, and that's not the best thing either. But I'm definitely taking my time with the main story missions, which I'm definitely like not blasting through. I'm really trying to be meticulous with level grinding, getting those side missions cleared out so I can be a little bit of a higher level with better gear and whatnot. But I would still say overall, I'm still enjoying the time I had. My enjoyment to frustration ratio is very favorable. I would say maybe like 8-2. I would say that's kind of like where the ratio stands right now. So yeah, that's me. What I've been playing this week, Cyberpunk, and who'd like to get us started for our first topic of the evening?
Do you want to just keep going to Cyberpunk?
No, I kind of want to, take another moment.
So then why you asking when you just want me to go? Hey guys, it's me, Adam.
I don't just.
Hey guys, it's me, Adam here.
Hey,
we could try something.
You're the host. You throw me in the. You want Genesis to go first with the rumors? Heck no.
Boom. How about that? Yes.
Oh my.
Yes.
Well, you're the host. All right, Genesis, you're going first.
You just threw a curveball here. Okay, all right.
This is why you got to tune in every week. We don't know if it's happening. By the way, we weren't here yesterday because some schedules got mixed up. Happy Wednesday. Probably should have mentioned that.
Yeah. Hey,
I mean, to our
every Tuesdays or Wednesdays, more like at 10
one day of the week. Well, just one day of the week. We're
Eventually,
here.
when we get to have a Twitter, I will be announcing the schedules on the Twitter.
Yes.
Make sure it's good on the Twitter. All right.
Yes.
So yeah, let's start off with some
whenever
rumors.
that happens.
Let's go with some rumors.
Episode 21.
Okay, so what is the internet telling me this week? This is
what do you
real
mean
early.
whispering?
I can't believe I'm just being thrown under the bus like this.
Hey.
But okay, let's start this up. So one of the first things I'm actually going to go over with the rumors here is actually. Should I? You know, I'm going to go with this one first. So I believe a week ago, it was either last cast or the one before that, I was talking about a bunch of Resident Evil rumors that were coming out. With the leaked documents from Capcom happening. And I believe I touched on one of the titles, which was Resident Evil Outrage, which is known as Resident Evil Revelations 3. Apparently, one of the rumors now coming out is that Revelations 3 is going to be a timed Switch exclusive. It is going to be with Rebecca Chambers as the protagonist. Why this one's being brought up, it's an interesting point, just that a couple of people are mentioning it here and there. It seems that Nintendo is now throwing money at some of these devs, the publishers or gaming companies, that they say, listen, we want to grab some timed exclusivity from you guys to gain some traction on these titles before they hit other consoles. Because I don't think they really have many exclusive deals other than their own franchises, which is what they have right now, right? They don't have any other random exclusive deals.
They don't. However, Nintendo does have a small history having done this before with Capcom, specifically with Resident Evil, when they had, Resident Evil 4 came out on GameCube first for a timed exclusive, and I believe they also, got the remakes of the original Resident Evil on GameCube also, if I'm not mistaken. So there is a little bit of a history there between Capcom and Nintendo when it comes to some special Resident Evil action.
Also, the Pikmin games, when they do not Pikmin, the Rabbids, Wouldn't that count as like
Rabbids, yeah,
one of them?
yeah, that's
Or
their, yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of the Rayman
The
stuff is mostly on the Switch first, or Nintendo platforms first, and I feel like they do have ones. Just we don't pay attention to them, so we don't
No,
care.
and it seems to be that Capcom is, getting paid pretty nicely by Nintendo for exclusivities. So like
Sure.
last week, I think I mentioned with Monster Hunter Rise's time to
Hmm.
exclusivity on the Switch, they paid around $6 million for that. There's no figure that I have for this one. I just found that this was in a very interesting rumor that they were looking at this one and they were saying, oh, this is another one that they're paying exclusivity for, whether it's timed or however long it is. It's very odd that they're paying for these now, especially with Capcom. Generally, I would have thought they would have gone to Ubisoft. They would have gone to even like EA, like because of the other games that people, even with like I would have thought Fortnite too, but I don't know who Fortnite's with now anyway.
Huh?
As far as exclusivity or marketing deals are concerned, are they still with PlayStation?
I think they just market wherever they can at this point.
Yeah, I
Because
don't think.
remember,
Yeah,
they
I
were
don't.
with Samsung, and they were marketing on the like the portable devices
The
and stuff for a
Galaxies.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
No.
they marketed with God of War, obviously, and then also Master Chief. Like they're just wherever. Also, Reggie's
Yeah.
going to see us on the battle bus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yeah, there isn't too many platforms that Fortnite isn't in bed with. Heck, even Stadia, right?
yeah, yeah, I'm
So
pretty sure it's
yeah,
everywhere at this
yeah,
point.
it's literally everywhere, and they kind of have to be because as popular as I guess I still think that game and whole situation is, it is still kind of like a one trick pony though, right? It's like it's not. It is what it is, and it's never really going to be anything more than that. So,
I mean, it's
and
done
at the
some
same,
crazy stuff the last few years, like a
the
concert.
tie-ins,
Yeah, and
yeah.
like when it broke the game world, like the Marvel stuff, like they've done a lot of crazy things in that game. I'll never play it
Yeah,
probably, but they've done a lot of
right. Yeah,
crazy things.
yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of, I know one of you guys mentioned Stadia. I just have a slight comment. I want to talk about Stadia real
Oh,
quick
oh,
as a
wait. Can I
little thing.
interrupt you really quick
Yeah,
before
go
that?
ahead.
Because you had mentioned Monster
Breaking
Hunter.
news. Oh,
No, not breaking news. But
oh,
did anyone realize that that Monster Hunter film recently came up?
yeah,
Yeah,
Is it
another
out?
Paul. Oh
yeah.
yeah, another Paul W.S. Anderson with his
Uh,
wife Mila Jovovich
where's it
trashed the
out? Is
trailer.
it
What?
like just pay per view or whatever, video
I
on
think
demand or whatever?
there may be some select theaters that are showing it, but either way, regardless, Crafting a Chat does not
Oh,
endorse the Monster
December
Hunter film
18th.
because apparently it's a whole bunch of
Well,
trash. But it's Paul W.S.
Tennyson
Anderson,
Tennyson Pictures, is
and
that the same
he's
company
not the
who now
best.
just bought what the hell was it? Tennyson Warframe? Is that the same Tennyson that were
are you talking about
same division?
Tencent?
It's spelled the same. Oh, sorry, Tencent. Yeah,
Yeah,
Tencent.
it's 10 cent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what?
What just happened
Sorry.
here? No, that's 10 cent. Is it tenant or
Um,
10 cent?
Tencent. It's
Tencent.
a giant
Tencent. That
Chinese
they're
I
the
company
know, I
that.
same
know,
people who
Yeah,
made this film.
I know.
yeah. Well, they're giant Chinese. They
Yeah,
fund a lot of stuff. They,
10 cent
Damn.
funds a ton. Their
yeah,
money is everywhere and in
I'm looking at
all
the
the wrong
ratings of this. It's
places.
not
a
it's
lot.
not anything good.
Yeah.
48% on
Well,
Rotten
again,
Tomatoes.
consider the source. It's
Wow,
Paul
48%
W.S. Anderson.
on
Yeah,
Rotten Tomatoes is higher than I thought.
I'd love to know who his representatives in regards to bridging the gap with Capcom is, because for some odd reason, he's been able to pull the wool over their heads for years handling their licensed IP. And for some odd reason, they just gobble him up, and I don't
Money.
understand why.
He makes some money.
Well, yeah, but anybody can make money, and his film adaptations of their properties have only been minimal to marginal profit percentage at the box office. Somebody who would be able to deliver something a little bit more cohesive, for instance, would be able to give them more money. And again, I just don't understand who his people are because they are the real talent behind the Paul W.S. Anderson Capcom video game adaptation films because they're the ones that actually make it happen.
I have to think that if a video game movie comes out and it's bad, or even if it's good, it just increases the sales of the video game, so video game companies don't really care how well the movie does. I have to imagine there's something that we don't understand
There's some
where they keep
connection.
putting all this garbage out.
Yeah, I
Yeah, because
understand that,
Monster
but
Hunter's been selling quite well, right?
oh
Like by
yeah,
Oh
itself.
and
yeah, yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, Monster Hunter doesn't. It's not an IP that needs help in any way. Like that. That's a solid brand. That's a solid game
Uh,
franchise. If you're looking for that style of game, I can maybe understand if they're trying to expand on the audience a little bit there. But I mean, like, it's also not that franchise that's really going for mass appeal, right? It's not. It has a niche audience, and like that action RPG, but it's very kind of like it's very focused on a particular style of gameplay as opposed to a more generic kind of like shooting or RPG or open world. You know what I mean? Like something a little bit more generic. But I'm just saying is that a better movie, regardless of what you're basing it on, whether it's original or an adaptation, a better movie is just going to get you more money and better optics regardless. And I'm just saying, Paul W.S. Anderson, while serviceable at making a film happen, not the best writer by any means, and definitely owes a lot of the film's green light ability to the fact that he's married to Mila Jovovich, also the star in his film. So, I mean, I'm just putting that out there. You all can send that on back if you have anything else to add to that conversation.
Oh, W.S.
Sorry, I just
Anderson,
didn't mean to.
come on the show. Explain yourself.
Yeah,
We'll fly you out.
we'll we'll fly you
we'll,
right out
we'll
to
fly out.
our
We'll
nice,
fly you
beautiful
out here.
studio,
Yeah,
our
and
custom crafting a chat studio here in
I'll
the
befriend you on
Missoula.
PlayStation. I'll send you the invite. You can even come to our realm if you want. You can build whatever you want. We got some stuff.
Absolutely, the invitation is open. Sorry, Genesis, I didn't mean to like derail
No,
that, but
that's
you
okay.
mentioned that, and I was like, oh man, Monster Hunter World, the film. That's right, that is a thing. Yikes. Anyway, continue on.
Yeah.
No, not a problem at
Continue
all.
on.
So the only side note I wanted to mention
Yeah,
was I
continue
just
on.
wanted to get your opinion on something. So Stadia obviously has been something of a topic that's been dead for a little bit now. Nobody really cares about it
Oh, not
anymore. It
anymore.
was dead out of, yeah. That's what I'm going to bring up now. Apparently, Cyberpunk runs on that amazingly, and a lot of people are like, "Wait a minute, this can run on Stadia, no problems." What do you guys think about that? Where Stadia has been criticized for many months before the launch of Cyberpunk for latency issues, for not having games, for just being an overall disappointment, internet connectivity issues, and just the library's been decreasing. And whatever Google promised that they were going to do with this gaming system is not even coming to light, and they seem to be forgetting about it now because they're like, well, you know what, it is what it is. Um, but with the release of Cyberpunk, apparently it's been gaining steam. I don't think it's been getting any steam like crazy Switch sales steam, but it's becoming a topic of discussion now where people are talking about the performance of Cyberpunk on this versus like a PS4 or an Xbox One,
Hmm.
and this is basically running off of nothing. It's not running off of, your processor and your TV or your computer or your phone. This is all like streamed to your phone via your Wi-Fi or cellular connection.
But it's
So
originating from higher end hardware. That's where the source of the stream is, right?
I am assuming, I don't know unless one of you guys can confirm that for me. I don't know what type of hardware is indeed giving this game, because that wouldn't line up if that was the case, because the older games all had problems. Destiny,
Hmm.
Assassin's Creed, Borderlands, uh, what else came? All some of the older games, Watch Dogs, I think came on this as well. Any of the Ubisoft games were all released the same time that they were in consoles for Stadia, but all those games seem to have had issues. So why would this one game not have any issues?
Well, I mean, there could be, again, without really knowing exactly how Stadia does its thing. Just the generic idea is that you're again, like you had mentioned, you're not using any of your own native hardware per se to
Mm-hmm.
generate to generate the video and the audio. It's being streamed to you, and you just basically interact with the stream. That being said, it's obviously it's being sourced by some PC hardware and servers somewhere. And again, seeing how the PC version of Cyberpunk is obviously the highest performing, cleanest version of that software. Yes, granted, the latency issues with streaming in general, and there's a lot of data going back and forth in the video and audio packs for that game in particular. Perhaps the Stadia people was like, look, hey, maybe they just rearranged their hardware. Maybe they reprioritized some of their streams in order to, facilitate this better signal strength for that particular game in order to, get some attention, get some eyes on them. Possibly, I don't know. Adam?
Stadia runs on it's streaming. It's what it is. It's
Right.
similar to you don't need hardware. You could run it on a Chromecast.
Correct.
So there was only one review I found on this from I think it was Android Central, where the person who played it on a Stadia was like, "Wow, it runs great on a Stadia. By the way, my internet connection is higher than most places in the United States. Also, I still had some issues with it. It's not as pretty as the PC version. It looks similar to the PlayStation 5 version. In a few months, the consoles will be better than this." That is literally the summary of the review. So it's a headline that's kind of been blown out of the water. It's just that the game doesn't explode like it does on the original consoles because it's running on a server. So
Right.
I'm not shocked by it. I'm a little upset that it's been passed around and just gaining traction. Like, oh, you should buy this game on Stadia. No, you shouldn't. You should wait. You shouldn't.
Breaks.
Yeah, you should hold off.
You
buy it
shouldn't
on your
buy anything
platform
on
of
Stadia.
choice. If you want to do
Yeah,
Stadia, you do
exactly.
Stadia, but you buy it on your platform of choice. Like, don't also hold off on this game. Honestly, they sold over 13 million units. They're fine. Like, you guys can calm down.
Insane. That's accounting the refunds too. I saw that as well. I was like, that's
My
including
guess-
the refunds they sold.
guess
13
is-
million.
The refunds, my guess, is probably not a significant amount.
Not at all.
I'm sure
Most people
it's just,
don't follow video game news. They probably bought a game, they played it for 20 minutes on their PS4, was like, oh, this is broken, whatever, and then went back to playing NBA or something.
right.
Like, most people
granted-
don't pay attention like everyone else that
And
we
granted,
do.
there's another reason for that too. It's also the culture behind returns and refunds for a video game product has been ingrained around the world in terms of like a basically final sale situation forever almost because of copyright laws all around the world, and so people have a lot of learned behavior on their minds when it comes to buying a dud. When it comes to a game, it doesn't occur to them that with special circumstances like that has occurred with Cyberpunk, that those special stipulations will allow those kinds of returns to happen like any other product, any other normal product, another electronic or what have you, because the product is faulty or malfunctioning. So that's a thing too, but I mean, Adam is also 100% right. Gamers for the most part, it's a little bit of a risk that they just take on unknowingly. It's like, oh well, I'm playing it, and I thought I'd like it, and I don't really anymore, but I don't care, so I'm gonna shelve it and I'll move on to something else because there's lots of games out there.
Just to finish up that topic and actually end that part of it, what do you guys think about the refunds and everything? GameStop's made comments, Best Buy's made comments, Sony took it up
That's something
before,
I think
they're
we're going to
offering
tackle
full
later,
refunds.
right?
Well, I mean, we can definitely talk about it. I wasn't specifically going to talk about that aspect, but we can definitely talk about that in my segment because that is part of it.
Okay.
I mean, so
We'll save it for then.
yeah,
Not a problem.
I would say, generally speaking, right now, it's like, well, it's interesting how quickly those developments occurred. It didn't gild the lid like it happened within a week or two of launch. Yeah, that's pretty fast. That kind of response. So
Gotcha. I just pulled up another rumor here about Halo Infinite. This tweet has been since removed, and the comments is about 500 and how many comments are here? 600, yeah, a good hundred, a good couple hundred comments here. Just talking about Halo Infinite actually might not be coming to the Xbox One or Xbox One X. It actually is being changed to being a Series X/S and PC exclusive. Um, the Halo community manager came out and said that this is not correct, but I don't know. I mean, that tweet's been removed, and there's people underneath saying that no, this actually sounds like would be correct, especially if they're looking to optimize the game even further, which would kind of make sense with the delay that they're having, until fall 2021. But I don't know. I mean, this falls in a situation of like what I felt like Cyberpunk should have been in, where they should have made a choice and said, okay, let's either take it off this console or keep it going for the console and optimize it even more. I mean, if they do that and they axe basically the One X and One people, I feel like that would give them a better game on. Yeah, I feel like that give them a better game on the X and the S, and that would in turn sell more consoles. And at that point in time, yeah, that would be last gen because you're talking about 2021 at that point. So, to them, they want to sell more of the hardware that they've been making, and okay, let's get more hardware units out there if we're going to make this exclusive. It'll also probably bolster the Xbox Game Pass sales and stuff like that. But I just read that rumor, actually.
Well, interesting that you mentioned that, because I would actually say that Halo Infinite is running into a situation that Cyberpunk did run into, specifically as it pertained to messaging, marketing, and advertising. When it comes to that statement from the community manager, you said, of the Halo Infinite.
So Halo community manager came out and just said that, ignore that, don't worry about it, this and that. But I mean, we're in a time where people say one thing one day and then the next day they delay a game because they.
Well, that's my point. Well, that's my point exactly. I mean, would the community manager actually know that? I mean, you would think in theory the community manager would know that, but I think Cyberpunk's issues, and quite frankly, games that even preceded Cyberpunk, it's just that this game with Cyberpunk being the most hyped and largest profile one to have these disastrous outcomes as a result of mismanaging and mismessaging, we're really, really sensitive to it. But like you said it perfectly, Genesis. I mean, you might have all this whole advertising arm of a publisher developer situation trying to get information out to your consuming public, but do they really know the right information to even make any kind of statements? They may be empowered by the companies that they're working for to go ahead and make these kinds of posts and make those kind of messages.
They might not even know, yeah.
But they might not even know, and they're under no compunction to hold true to anything, because again, at the end of the day, it's the board of directors for, most often than not, it's the publisher who's saying yay or nay, and who lives, who dies, when release dates go out, and what's a finished game and what's not a finished game. So I feel like one of the lessons, and this is something that I will talk about on my section, is that one of the lessons of Cyberpunk 2077 is that you really can't trust any messaging from anyone that isn't the CEO or the board of directors, and then even then, you can't even count on that every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So you just can't trust it. So honestly, I feel like that rumor, there might be a little something to it, because Microsoft, they're not idiots. They see what's going on in the industry, and they're looking exactly at the disaster that Cyberpunk is kind of like dealing with right now. Now, granted, I'm sure they'd love to have their sales numbers, but they're not going to get those sales numbers. No. They might get close with it, but they definitely would not have a shot at all if they release a glitchy, buggy low-res experience. They have to up their game. That's why they pulled it. And they're going to take that back to formula or whatever they're going to do to try to make Halo excellent again. But they, at the same time, though, I don't know how proactive they want their community managers to be when it comes to messaging, because chances are they don't really have the real information, and they might not be. They'll probably get caught after the fact and say, "Oh, here's your Twitter feed. This is where you lied to us here. This is where you lied to us there." And then the community manager is going to say, like, "Hey, this is the information that I had at the time. Don't take it out on me." And absolutely everybody on the internet will definitely take it out on you. It's a thankless job, and unfortunately, that goes with the role. Godspeed, Spider-Man. Oh boy.
I want to touch on another thing real quick here. This is Adam, you might find this interesting. So the Metacritic and OpenCritic.
You totally bypassed Adam on that one. He might have had something to say about that.
I had some stuff.
I'm sorry.
I did. I did.
I'm sorry.
I find it really funny that the community manager, responded with, "Nope, please just let me enjoy my holidays." Because
I read that. I was like, what?
Yeah. So that's pretty great. I would like to think that community managers are privy to some details, Cyberpunk excluded, from that list, because the whole pre-order thing, like, can I take off work? Like, yeah, you take off work, haha, screw that guy.
No backsies.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that they're still going to release it on the original Xbox. I did see this rumor earlier in the week. I also saw, I don't even know who it was on Twitter, so I can't even credit them, but this wasn't me, where they said a good way to fix this is by releasing the multiplayer on everything, but only the main campaign on the next gen and PC, and that would make people happy. Because you can definitely make two different versions of the multiplayer that still works just as well. It's just the campaign, like, you don't want to drag that down.
Do you think there would be any cross play or cross?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Play?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't see an issue with that. Because if they couldn't make that work, they make Minecraft cross-generational play and on PlayStation. I mean, sometimes it's not fun to set that up, but it works eventually. Sometimes 50-50. It would suck if it was canceled for a lot of people, but at the same time, like, how many Xbox Ones are there? There's not that many. Like, if you're a big Halo fan, you probably have enough to buy a Series S. If not, you probably shouldn't be buying a video game.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I would agree. That's a good way to gauge that. I would agree with that.
Hopefully, we get a bigger stimulus. Fingers crossed, everybody. But yeah, my thoughts are basically the same as Giuseppe on this. Like, who cares?
Let me ask you two gentlemen a question. Do you think the way that we've been treated with with Twitter and Cyberpunk with, is this game confirmed? Can I take off from work? Okay, yeah. Next day we're delayed. Do you think that's something we should be looking or expecting to happen in this generation coming up now? Do you think that's going to be something that we see more of, or
you mean more interactivity in terms of, like, the messaging?
No. Meaning, are we going to see things like that happen more often in this?
More dishonesty.
Generation?
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
We definitely see more dishonesty. Absolutely.
More. Well, as much as I would love to be like, everyone's evil, the people who ran the Cyberpunk, like Twitter and everything, they didn't know. They were dishonest, not on purpose. So it was not with ill intent. I mean, the people above them, it was with ill intent, it seems.
But that's the thing. I'm not throwing those people under the bus. I'm throwing exactly the people on top.
Yeah.
I know,
who are making those shows, and it's their fault for this disaster. And disasters like this, it's inevitable. Absolutely, 100%. It's inevitable that we're going to see bigger games, more anticipated games with bigger and more disastrous launches as the future dictates. Because look at Cyberpunk 2077. 13 million copies sold despite all of the negative attention. It has proven immune
Well,
to the
most of those were
situation
sold through
faced.
pre-orders as well.
That
So,
is
Yeah,
true.
they have what, like 8 million
but
in pre-order.
yeah, 8 million. They said that was the numbers before the game launched. The 8 million
Hmm.
pre. It was like a week before the game launched, so pre-orders could have even went higher. Um,
Right, right.
Okay.
but yeah, we'll definitely see dishonesty. I don't know if we'll see it to the level of Cyberpunk for a while. I mean, eventually we will, of course, because that's just how time works. But I just I can't imagine that maybe a year from now, the internet's going to be mad at some other game that's lied. Maybe Halo again. If God of War Ragnarok or something, Sony's usually pretty good with this stuff because their marketing is not like a, hey, let's talk to you guys. Their marketing is very old fashioned. It is very like by the numbers. Like that's why I think we were all shocked by Sony being like, hey, sorry about the whole pre-order thing because we've never seen them apologize or interact on their Twitter. Their Twitter literally is just like, hey, look at this game deal. Hey, look at this game coming out. And
Right.
Microsoft's Twitter is like using memes and replying to people, and like Sony will reply to people by saying, hey, you're having issues with PlayStation? Here, go to Ask PlayStation. They'll help you. Like, they do
Right.
not have that type of, like, I don't want to say westernized, but it is kind of a westernized thing when it comes
Yes.
to the marketing that Microsoft does. Like, the best example I can give is the Wendy's Twitter. That
Oh,
Twitter,
right, right, right,
everyone's
right, right.
trying, every corporation tries to be Wendy's, and sometimes Wendy's is a little but it's just Sony's just not like that, so we have a better chance of not being lied to, except when they lied about No Man's Sky, like in official advertisements, like
Mm,
full blown advertisements. But that's again going back to is that the developer or Sony? Because it seems like Sony pushed Sean Murray really and his whole studio and Sean Murray. It was everyone lying over there, so that's why that whole
mm.
thing happened. But definitely, we'll see an increase because that's just how internet works. It's gonna get bigger. It's gonna become more intrusive. Soon, we're all gonna stream this on Twitter as well. So you just
It
said at the
would
beginning
be.
of this that you wanted to get a Twitter so you could post when the show goes
Yeah, there
live.
you go.
Like
Yeah, that's
it's
it.
expanding constantly.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. My only opinion would be I expect to see this from a lot of games, just not as much from Sony first party games. I think they do a much better job at, uh, for
Quality
one,
control.
yeah, quality control, launching, post launch, things like that. Like even for example, like Days Gone. Days Gone is now popping up on Reddit, NeoGAF forums where people play the PlayStation games because it's being replayed on PS5, and they're saying this is like a hidden gem because of the improved frames, the better overall gameplay, and people are appreciating all the patches that have come through with it. Ghost of Tsushima, all the free patches that we've gotten for that. I don't know. They seem to just have a much better quality control and overall just better way of doing it. Now, I don't know if that's because of their less westernized thinking, which I'm going to ask too. Do you think it's better that they have that type of thinking, or do you think that's a hindrance to them?
I think it's.
You can
Go
go
ahead, Adam.
first.
Okay, I was gonna say it's focused on the market. I don't necessarily think that they play like a more dynamic social media interactivity messaging, uh, for the entire globe to have that simultaneous kind of experience. I think it gets attention in the markets that look to take advantage of that attention. So I mean, it's fine. But I don't know. I don't think that's like the dedicated strategy, you know, that can be applied everywhere. So
Yeah, I
Like be
think.
westernized or
Well, I think it's a good mix that Sony does because they do retweet like when a developer says something funny. Like if like for example, the Fall Guys community manager. He's been tweeting like a crazy man ever since that game launched and even leading up to that game. And they've been so proactive in like talking to people, like just hanging out with the community really, like creating just memes, calling out giant creators that created costumes in the game. Like That's something we wouldn't see Sony ever do internally, but that's something where Sony saw that and they were like, this is working, we're going to support it, and it just grew and grew and grew. So every time they would tweet something that was big, Sony would retweet it, and like it would get more interaction. So I think there has to be a good mix with anything, there has to be a mix. You can't just be all like, hello, this game is on sale, goodbye. Like, like thank you. Sometimes they do that though, where it's like NBA 2K21 is $49.99 on the PlayStation Store for a limited time only, and then they have a PlayStation Store link. Like, I'm not clicking that. Meanwhile, Microsoft 90% of the time is going, hey, what's coming to Game Pass? Ooh, and then they use a little emoji. Like, what is that? And then people are guessing, and then what's his face at Microsoft? I can't remember his name, but he gives away free codes on Fridays, every single Friday on Twitter. So, and it usually trends in the top 10 in the U.S. because people are just retweeting, trying to get that. But again,
Sure.
Sony is still the most tweeted, or most, I think it's most tweeted video game company.
Yeah.
And I think in history probably, but in 2020,
I'm pretty sure it's been history.
Yeah.
Nintendo doesn't seem to have anything like that. Nintendo doesn't have a presence like that on Twitter, I don't think.
It's because Nintendo, they have a presence on Twitter, but they also have a very strange relationship with their community, because you could be like Nintendo certified, but you could lose that in an instant. They have a very old-fashioned kind of an idea when it comes to marketing. Like, you have to be an official Nintendo creator to even share some stuff. They've relaxed on that over the last year or so, due to a lot of controversy between
But it's still there.
Twitch. It's still there. It's definitely still there. I would say Sony was like that in the past, but thankfully, over time, things have changed, and they're all starting to get a little bit more lenient, thankfully. But a few years from now, it could be a mess. It could be like Microsoft gets into a big old kerfluffle about Halo. Let's say they have a Cyberpunk kind of launch for Halo. Like, it sells well, but then everyone hates them. And then they are like, okay, we gotta strict this up. And then you see Nintendo just start Wendy's dunking on them. Like, like, I don't think that's gonna happen, but like, you never know with Twitter. So it's just
true.
so unpredictable.
It's true.
Yeah, I would agree. My segment ran a little bit over time, so I'm gonna actually end it here. That'll be it for my rumor segment. What the internet is whispering.
Wow,
Awesome.
not a lot of rumors
Adam,
this
you're
week.
up.
No, not too many.
All right, it's my segment, please, sir.
You get to go.
Please,
all you.
sir. Thank you. All right, so I wanted to talk about the PlayStation First Party developers. All right, you guys are familiar with them.
We like him.
Big fans?
I love
Pretty
them.
solid.
Oh, yeah? I want you guys to rank them. I want you both to agree on a ranking of the PlayStation First Party. I'm here. Don't worry. I got you.
Yeah.
I'm going to write these down because that's going to help me think about the list. So
Sure.
Just grab a paper and I got it.
Hey,
Here we go.
okay. The first one is SIE Japan Studio.
Okay.
Can you also give us examples of like what?
I will give you a big
done?
example of what they've done. SIE Japan Studio, their most recent project, was Demon Souls in coordination with Blue Point Games.
Okay.
And then what's the ranking out of? Like 10, 5?
We'll get there when we go through them. I didn't count. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let me know when you're ready, Giuseppe.
I'm good.
Polyphony Digital. Gran Turismo.
Huh. I don't play those games. I'm aware of Gran Turismo.
Yep.
Got it.
Polyphony Digital.
Got it.
All right. Guerrilla Games. You guys should be familiar with this. Horizon.
Right.
Killzone.
Okay.
SIE London Studio. They mostly done like SingStar, and they're mostly focused on PSVR lately.
Okay.
Media Molecule.
Uh-huh.
This is one I didn't know, but apparently it is one. SIE XDev Europe.
Mm?
So this is it's in the same office as the old Liverpool studio. They team up with like European developers. Some of their stuff is Until Dawn when they partnered with Supermassive Games, and Detroit Become Human when they partnered with Quantic Dreams. So they partner with European like independent developers to make first party PlayStation projects.
So Quantic Dream affiliates
Yeah, like
partner.
some things that come out that are coming out or have come out: Destruction All Stars, Returnal, and Sackboy.
Oh, and
Destruction
Sackboy.
All Stars coming out in February. Can you
Interesting.
after Gorilla? What was that SIE? Which SIE was that?
SIE London
London.
was
Okay,
after
okay, okay.
Gorilla.
And
Hmm.
then after London
That was
was
Media Molecule.
Media Molecule.
Oh, you writing
And
these
then
down
this one
too?
is yes, it is.
Oh, it's
SIE
helpful.
XDev Europe.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
everybody good?
Yeah.
SIE Ben Studio. You can just write Ben Studio. Days Gone. So, Siphon Filter. You guys know them.
And Studio Days
Mm-hmm.
Gone.
Good old Insomniac is next. I don't know if I have to list things for you for these ones, but
No, it's not
okay.
inside.
No. Now, yeah, we're good.
Good old Naughty Dog is next. Classic Naughty Dog.
Okay.
Okay.
Next is Pixel Opus. They're one of the more newer ones. Their first game was Entwined.
Okay.
I think they actually did Concrete Genie recently. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to look that up.
Keep seeing that game all over for sale
Yeah,
too.
I see it, and I'm like, I think I would really like this, but at the same time, I'm like, trophies seem difficult. Next is SIE San Diego Studios. You'll know them because of MLB The Show, and possibly the new Uncharted game, rumored. Remember?
Right.
Apparently, David Jaffe was saying that it is something to do with Uncharted and third person stuff like that.
Does David Jaffe even have like? Does he work for PlayStation anymore? I don't think he does. I don't know how. Well, he would have. Yeah, he's kind of one of those people who are like, I know people. They'll talk to me and I'll tell. I don't care. So he's a crazy guy. Next is SIE Santa Monica Studios. You guys probably know them pretty well, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And then the next one, in the best location, Bellevue, Washington, for friend reasons, is Sucker Punch. Still makes me laugh. Think about that every so often, Genesis. Think about that every
It's
so
in
often.
Bellevue, Washington. Well, I don't.
This
I
is
don't.
in
I don't
Bellevue,
live out there.
Washington.
I don't live out there.
And that is the list.
All
1,
right, so
2,
we're.
3, 4, 5, 6,
I think this is 12.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, 12.
Out of 12.
13?
Okay, so
Might be 13.
13.
I don't know. I didn't count. You guys counted. You got enough.
Yeah.
Nope,
So
it's out of 13. You're correct.
13.
7 plus 6, yeah, 13. Yeah,
Yeah, there's also another one, but they only do mobile stuff, so I don't even care about them.
that's fine.
mm-hmm.
We don't really care about mobile
So I
games on
want
this
you two,
podcast.
just you two, to come up with a list, a ranking of these, and you have to agree on the list. You're not doing your separate list. You're working
So we
together.
collaborate on
Oh,
You
this.
guys are
okay.
collaborating, and you can ask me any questions. Like I want you guys to talk it through.
Okay.
All right.
Well, we got to start from the top down because honestly, like some of these other ones, like SIE
Yeah,
Japan,
they're
like
pretty obscure, I think, right?
yeah, we can kind of like lump them into whatever towards the bottom. But let's see if we can really agree at the top.
Okay.
So obviously
Giuseppe,
the
go
big
ahead.
boys that we gotta like, I'm just gonna go ahead and just take out. We'll put front forward three off the top that are the obvious choices for contenders for number one. Naughty Dog, obviously there, has got to be. Insomniac also has to be there. SIE Santa Monica, and possibly Sucker Punch, especially with Ghosts, coming out. So I'll add that fourth one in there. I'm not sure who's number one, but I feel like in a top five, those four have got to be there. Like, I don't see ones that are bigger or more important or more impressive than those four. Insomniac, Naughty Dog, SIE Santa Monica, and Sucker Punch. They gotta be the top four.
So you guys don't know Sony or SIE Japan Studios? Do you mind if I list off some games they've done?
What else do they have?
Go ahead.
Astro, Gravity Rush, The Last Guardian, Shadow of the Colossus, Knack, Gravity Rush 2, the original Demon Souls, Playroom, Puppeteer, Knack 2 obviously, Ape Escape. They're going back a while. Like Loco Roco, Hot Shots Golf. Like they're
I would still possibly put Guerrilla Games over SIE Japan then, even with that list.
Sure.
Like I would actually probably put Guerrilla Games as my number 5.
Horizon.
Yeah, I would put Guerrilla Games number 5. It's a toss-up between. I don't know, man. I think
number 4 would have to go to. I want to say I think number 4 should go with what is it? San Diego. Not San Diego. Santa Monica actually. Santa Monica for number 4.
Wow.
Yeah. Number 4 for Santa
The
Monica.
other 3 have just been putting out stellar games. Not saying that San Diego doesn't. Obviously they
You mean Santa Monica again?
God of War.
Santa Monica.
Oh, Santa Monica. Sorry, I keep saying San Diego.
Yeah.
With with what they've put out, but I think in terms of recent, and I know we shouldn't just be relying on recent games only. Obviously, there are older games that have been very, very well.
It's a what have you done for me lately, issue.
I think I'd agree with that. In terms of recent times, then I definitely would put Sucker Punch, Insomniac, and Naughty Dog up in that list above Santa Monica.
All right, so Santa Monica. Okay, I'll agree with you on Santa Monica because this is the thing. As great as God of War is, and obviously PlayStation All Stars, that's neat. Yeah, okay, a little bit more. I mean, I know God of War is huge, and they've done it.
Yes, very, very fantastic game. But just the surprises that have come out of Insomniac and Sucker Punch alone.
I mean, Insomniac. I feel like Insomniac's got to be. I think it's got to be like number 1. Spider-Man, Ratchet, Spyro, Resistance. Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. That's a wide range.
They're no longer Spyro, so don't include the new Spyro.
Well, I'm not including new, but you gotta include.
They did a great job with Spyro, but yeah, for the more recent ones, it's more Spider-Man. Just the surprise that Spider-Man came out to be Miles Morales and the original 2018 one. I think A, shocked a lot of people. B, just took, after the Batman series, I think a lot of people were looking for another superhero game, and I think Spider-Man had served that very well in terms of that superhero game,
right?
Especially coming off the Batman high.
Yeah.
But and then on top of that, Ratchet and Clank. I mean, Ratchet and Clank just keeps looking like a Pixar movie every single day. Now the next thing coming out, and I'm like, I want to play the next one.
Seriously, I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna say this is my top 5. Insomniac number 1, Sucker Punch number 2, Naughty Dog 3, SIE Santa Monica 4, Guerrilla Games 5, followed by SIE Japan, and quite frankly, everybody else can be tossed in there with the Quantic Dream Studio bringing up the rear.
I think I'd agree with that one. I think I'd agree. I think the rear for me, like the bottom of the pack for me, would probably be Pixel Opus, because I haven't played. This is just out of like a sheer obscurity. Like I don't know much about them, and maybe Polyphony, just because I know they make Gran Turismo, and I know that is a very beloved franchise by a lot of people. And people enjoy Gran Turismo a lot, just like they enjoy Forza, and it's driving sim. But I don't know, they just have not been making the quality, I think, is what I'm looking for of Gran Turismo, because Gran Turismo Sport was okay, it was good, but it wasn't what people, I think, looked for. Now people looking at GT7 and they're like, well, there's some reused assets from Sport, and it's a little bit better fidelity for graphics for the PS5, but other than that, what else are we seeing?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I picked XDev Europe. It's really more for spite than anything else. I would rather put obscure studios ahead of them for spite purposes. So that's all I gotta say about that. No, I think that's a pretty. I mean, and think about this: all of these first party studios, just like looking at them overall, such a quality catalog overall of titles
Absolutely.
that are major, iconic, excellent games that they've been doing it for a number of years. These are not guys that have just showed up out of the blue and they had a one hit wonder, and they burned bright for a time and then they fizzled out into nothing. No, these just a quality stable of franchises. Got to tell you, it's kind of impressive. And again, a big reason for Sony's video game business success overall.
Yeah.
All right. So since you both agree on the list,
yeah,
Genesis, you both agree on. Okay, Genesis, tell me the list.
So we have Insomniac, then Sucker Punch, then Naughty Dog, then SIE Santa Monica, Guerrilla, SIE Japan, and then everything else underneath that, I believe. Did we put San Diego anywhere?
So you guys didn't care for San Diego, Bend, Media Molecule?
I would say Media Molecule would probably be like 7 or 8. Again, Dreams, again, awesome. Little Big Planet, awesome. But again, very niche, for some odd reason. It's just very niche, and so definitely deserving of recognition, but also not head of the pack, not leaders of the pack.
All right.
I have to agree with that.
That was straightforward list.
Can we also do one for Xbox?
Do we know what any of them make? We
not
can.
all of them, but yeah.
Yeah, we can. We can do that. Hold on, let me pull them up.
Can I name these sometime? Can I do you and Giuseppe?
Your topic has passed, sir.
But I wanted. Oh, okay, all right.
Go ahead, do it. I'll allow it. I don't care.
I will not.
All right, you know what? You go ahead. You're fine.
This is my topic. I was going to jump into something else, but whatever. I don't care.
You jump into whatever you need to jump in, sir.
Jump.
No jump.
It's a jump ball.
It's a jump in, jump out.
Subsidiary.
Xbox jump in.
All right, ready?
Ready.
343 Industries.
Okay.
The Coalition. Compulsion Games. Compulsion Games has made We Happy Few. That's like the biggest one.
Okay.
Double Fine Productions. You guys may know them for stacking. Nothing else. That's all you can think about.
It's Schaefer's company, yeah?
Correct, yeah. The stacking company is what you meant to say.
Right, there you
go. Next is The Initiative.
You gotta actually look at Double Fine Productions website. The website's down, and it's just like, I need a break. That's what the website says. Anyway, go ahead.
They're building stacking too. That's what's going on there.
Probably.
Isn't stacking like a computer term? I don't know. That seemed like it was a deeper joke, but I didn't think it through. All right. Anyways, next is In Exile Entertainment. Spell that how you feel. They've made games including Wasteland and the Bard's Tale series. A little studio called Mojang. Never heard of them. Oh, I don't know who that is.
I don't know about them. I have no idea what they do.
They're located in Stockholm, Sweden. So.
Sweden.
Logan. Ninja Theory is next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They've made a Heavenly Sword.
They also
Some
made
other
DMC.
stuff. Yeah, but like not any of the good ones.
Bethesda Softworks. Are we counting Bethesda?
We're not there yet, sir.
Oh my.
They own way more.
They
Obsidian.
own a lot.
They've made Fallout New Vegas, South Park, The Stick of Truth, a little game I played called The Outer Worlds.
Right.
Wait, they made a Stick of Truth? I thought that was
Yeah.
Ubisoft. Or Ubisoft was the publisher.
No.
Ubisoft might have been the publisher, because that does. Yeah, because they were at the couch. I remember that. Good memory. Good memory there, Genesis.
He's got
Thanks.
that laser focused radar on all things Ubisoft. Whenever they get out of line, Genesis will be there.
What a guy. Next is Playground Games. They work with Turn 10 Studios on the Forza Horizon series, and they're currently in development of the next Fable game.
Are they the ones? Okay, well, okay.
Yeah, the other people can't do it because they died. Like their studio died.
All right. Rest in peace, Rick.
Next is Rare.
That Rare used to be a big boy on the block.
They're
No
pretty
longer.
big again because of Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, but-
they're not at what they were. Don't get me wrong, but
They're not what they were.
definitely not at
used
what
to
they
be
were.
So huge.
Yeah.
So huge.
Next is the Turn 10 Studios. No, I don't know why I said that. Just Turn 10 Studios. Because of the Forza people.
Right.
Forza.
Next is Undead Labs. They make the State of Decay games. Next is World's Edge. The Age of Empires franchise.
They bought them?
I guess.
Sure.
Didn't even realize when they bought them.
They can afford it.
Yeah, they just buy everything. Then there's Xbox Game Studios, but there's not really anything they've done yet.
Right.
Minecraft Dungeons, I think they've done that.
Yeah, that's part of Mojang.
Yeah, that's. I would credit Mojang with that, but who knows? I don't know. I don't really follow him.
And then Bethesda, obviously, which you can just.
Did you say
Without-
343?
That was the first
343
one.
was the first one.
Okay, why did I not hear you
Jinx.
say that? I heard World's Edge. And I,
That
was
was
like,
Jinx.
what? I mean, I heard the Coalition. I didn't hear 343. I was like, where's 343?
I don't know.
Alright, so that's all I got.
Yeah, way more.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And honestly,
So that's all I got, huh?
I would still
the
take
garbage
the first
that they have.
grouping because I'm just looking at all the games, and I'm just saying I don't know.
It seems like what they have a lot of similar ones to Polyphony, where it's a studio that makes one game over and over and over.
Sure.